it's recording now.
Do you want me to hold it?
No, just kind of aim at what I'm doing down here. Try not to get any student faces in, because that's kind of not great for YouTube. And I'm not getting sued. All right, everybody. So the first thing we're going to do is put your bars together. I think most of you have done this already. Depending on the bars, these ones have been used before, so they're real loose. But newer bars might be kind of sticky. These are made out of wood, so there's a little bit of variation in the material. Sometimes it's harder to get them in than others. Anyway, if you have difficulties, one of the things you can use is a rubber mallet, and you can kind of pound them in like that. That can be really useful. For newer bars, it might even be kind of handy here. All right, so the first thing that we want to do with this is try to make sure that our corners are square, because you may have a rectangle here, but it can get a little rhomboid. It can be a little off square, especially if the corners aren't all the same kind of level of tightness. You can see some gaps in this one here. That can kind of get it off angle. So we want those gaps closed up, and we want to make sure the thing is square. So you can actually use a measuring square for this. If you don't have one of those handy, you can just use kind of a table. That usually works pretty well. And you just want to make sure that you've got right angles. So theoretically, if one of your angles is right, then the rest of them should be. But it's worth checking. Sometimes the stretcher bars can be a little bit warped. Kind of the lighter they are, the more vulnerable they are to that. And the ones I've got you guys are pretty light because stretcher bars are kind of expensive. So yeah, so we want to kind of space these out. Depending on the thickness of your stretcher bars, you're going to want an extra probably 3 to 4 inches of canvas here, and kind of want to get it centered. So we kind of want the same amount of slack on each side. So same amount over here and over here. Same amount on the bottom and on the top. So we kind of want to adjust that until everything seems good. So now we're going to staple the canvas to the bars here. While we're doing this, we want the canvas to be tight because we want to have a nice tight canvas when we're done. We don't want it to be saggy and droopy. So I've been noticing a lot of the prefabricated canvases I'm seeing lately have a lot of like divots in them and sagging and drooping. I think the prefabricated canvases are better than they used to be, but I still think some of them aren't great. So you want to start by stapling right in the middle, and I don't really want to stretch it. I just want to get it lined up, make sure that this edge is parallel to the edge of the bar, and then I'm going to rotate it around to the other side. So now I want to staple right in the middle opposite. I want to put a little bit of tension on it, so I'm going to stretch it a little bit here, but not a whole lot. And I want to make sure that I keep these straight. I don't want to get it real tight on one side and have it looser on the other, or else these are going to stop lining up, and that's going to cause issues for my stretching. So we start by doing the 2 middle sections. Then we do the 2 sides. And again, this is a place where I can probably stretch it a lot because there's not a lot holding it in place, but I don't want to stretch too much. So I do want some tension in there. I want it nice and tight, and put a staple right in the middle. And then this last one, I can put a decent amount of tension in it here, and it shouldn't warp it too much. So the lines on the canvas edge are pretty well lined up with the bars. One right in the middle. Okay. All right, I'm going to start on one of my longer sides, I think, and I'm going to just kind of work from the center here over to the corner. I want to stop before I get to the corner because I'm going to have to fold this in, and I want to leave myself room to do that. So I want to leave maybe about like 4 fingers from the corner. If you look at where the end of the canvas is here, we just don't want any staples past there, and we want a little bit of room to maneuver. So maybe I would say probably about 3 fingers-ish between each staple, just a couple inches. For my first set, I'm gonna just kind of use my fingers and finger tighten it. Again, if I get it too tight, it's gonna kind of pull this away, and I'm not gonna have enough canvas when I get over to this side. So I wanna, again, at least for my first pass, just kind of think about pulling it up and getting it parallel with the bar. Maybe putting slightly more tension in that, but not much. And just kind of rotate my way around, just working from the center over to the right. You can also go to the left. I go to the right, probably because I'm right-handed, but there's no particular reason you have to go that direction first. Right. And again, I'm gonna leave some space for the corner later. I'm just working my way out. Couple inches in between each staple. I don't have to get crazy with it. That one didn't go in super good. So if they don't go in well, you can pull them back out, or you can give them a little hammering. That's not the proper tool, but I'm recording, so I'm just gonna use it. Actually, probably use that for hammering in staples way more than I should. Again, I'm going to leave that space there. That seems good. So then this is my last one. I have to stretch this direction. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing, working from the center the other direction, pretty much in exactly the same fashion. This time we really want to get good tension in the canvas. So a good way to do it is to use the buddy system and have one person stretch and one person staple. It can be a little hard to do it on your own. If you are working on your own, this is a really nice tool to have. These are canvas pliers. So use them to grab the canvas and pull it tight. You probably, if you have good pinchers, you can probably do one of these on your own without pliers, no problem. If your pinchers are a little less strong, buddy system is probably a good idea, or pliers. But if you're doing a big canvas, these are especially good because it can really be hard to get enough tension that will last through the whole painting process. So basically, what I do is I crimp them here, and then I use this nub as kind of a lever against the bar to get it nice and tight. I work my way over to the side. Anyway, these are super useful. I don't have enough for everybody to use with them. I should probably buy as many as I have staplers, but I've not done that yet. Oh, we're out of staples. If a staple doesn't come out, you're probably out of staples. With these ones, the way you load them is you're gonna take this, squish it in, pull it out, and then the slide should come out. And then you want to put staples in. We would like to keep these staples in nice long sticks. The ones that are broken up like this, kind of a pain in the butt. They tend to cause jams and problems like that. The ones that are still nice long sticks tend to work really well. So try not to break them up. I know there's a certain satisfaction to breaking staple sticks into chunks. I get it, but it's less than ideal for use. All right, and that slides back in, and that just kind of latches back under there. All right. So yeah, that's the idea with the pliers. I'm gonna just kind of use my pinchers for the rest of it. Let's go a little faster. Same sort of idea. You do want to leave those gaps for the corners. Plenty of room for the corner folds. Now you're probably going to have a fair amount of canvas slack. It's easier to stretch if you have extra canvas, but if you have a lot of canvas hanging out here, it can be a pain in the butt to try to hang it. So best practice is probably to trim the extra canvas off when you're done and get kind of a nice neat line, kind of about where the end of the stretcher bar is. Gallerists will like you more if you do that. All right. I did it. Cool. So, grab some scissors. The thing that I like to do that is not necessary, but I think helps the presentation a little bit, is to trim the corners. So when I trim the corners, I'm kind of coming at an angle across here. So I want to have like some canvas kind of going up above the corner here. So a little bit of canvas here to fold over. But that extra is just kind of gonna have to be folded in. It's gonna make just kind of a big bump you don't necessarily want. And then we fold the corners. So I'm gonna hang this with a portrait orientation. So I'm trying to fold my excess canvas onto the bottom and the top. So I'm gonna kind of set it up that way. So kind of want to fold this over like this, and then this is going to come up on top. And we basically want this folded edge here to more or less line up with the corner of the canvas like that. That's a little off, but pretty close. Yeah, kind of like that-ish. Okay, so once we got that folded, we can kind of sneak a cheeky little staple underneath here. And then we'll do another one on top. So with these spring staples, or spring staple guns, the ones that you just kind of use by hand without power, they have kind of enough power to drive in like a 1/4 inch staple. So that's what I use. When you start to have kind of layered canvas, it's going to be hard for that staple to go through all the canvas and get into the wood to bite enough to hold it. So it's good to not have like 5 layers of canvas all folded up here. So this is actually 2. 2 is probably about the maximum you're gonna be able to staple and still have a secure kind of hold. So same process across. Let's do one more corner. And then I don't need to record the rest. So again, to trim the ears, that's what I call it. It's like trimming a dog's ears. That's messed up, I know, but yeah. You kind of want to be maybe about 1/2 inch up from the corner right here and just kind of go straight across. Let's see if I can do a different angle on that fold. So I want to fold my canvas up on top here. So I'm going to kind of open this up, lay that down, and then just come across here. Trying to make sure that folds nice and neat and as flat as possible. Kind of looks like that. All right. I'm gonna sneak one more underneath the fold and then put at least one on top, maybe 2. Pull this in a little bit. I don't want this to stick out, like so it's peeking out from behind the painting. Hello, I'm the canvas back here. Don't want that. We want to hide that, make it look kind of neat and clean. So we want to kind of line that fold up. It should kind of run right along this line or be a little tucked in. All right, so there's the idea. I'll do the same thing on the other corners, but we're pretty much done.